tonight, somewhere on Earth, millions of people will kiss. Some will kiss for love, some will kiss for comfort, some will kiss goodbye, and most of them will never stop to ask a strange question. Why do humans kiss at all? It feels natural, it feels universal, it feels ancient, but the truth is much stranger. Because kissing is risky. Every kiss exchanges millions of bacteria. Viruses can spread through saliva. Diseases can travel from one person to another. From a purely practical perspective, kissing seems like a terrible idea, so why did it survive? Why did it become one of the most powerful human behaviors ever created? The answer begins long before cities, long before farming, long before written language. It begins with our earliest ancestors, more than 100 million years ago, long before humans existed, long before the first ape climbed a tree. Female mammals were already feeding their young, but they did not always do it the way modern humans do. Many early mammals used mouth-to-mouth feeding. A mother would chew food, then pass it directly into the mouth of her offspring. Scientists call this pre-mastication. It sounds unusual today, but it was once common across many species, including humans. For thousands of years, mothers around the world fed children this way. The behavior created an interesting side effect. Mouths touching became associated with trust, safety, care, survival, the very foundations of human attachment. Could this ancient feeding behavior be the distant ancestor of kissing? Some researchers think so, but the story gets even stranger, because love may not have invented kissing. Your nose may have. Humans are visual creatures, but we are also chemical detectives. Every person carries a unique combination of chemical signals. Tiny molecules drift from skin, hair, breath, and sweat. Most of the time you never notice them. Your brain does. In the 1990s, biologist Klaus Wedekind conducted a famous experiment. It became known as the sweaty t-shirt study. Women were asked to smell shirts worn by different men. Then they rated which scents they preferred. The results were surprising. Many women preferred the scent of men whose immune systems differed from their own. Scientists believe this may help produce healthier offspring. In other words, attraction may begin before you say a single word, before a date, before a touch, before a kiss. And that brings something strange. What if kissing evolved partly as a way to gather information? When two faces move close together, something important happens. You enter another person's chemical world. You can smell their breath, their skin, their scent, their health. Researchers believe the human brain collects enormous amounts of information during close physical contact. Much of it happens unconsciously. You do not realize it, but your brain is constantly making calculations, healthy or unhealthy, familiar or unfamiliar, safe or unsafe, compatible or incompatible. A kiss may feel romantic, but underneath the romance, your biology may be running a test older than civilization itself. And yet, humans are not the only animals that do something similar. Bonobos do it. Chimpanzees do it. Even some birds touch beaks in ways that resemble kissing, not because they are copying humans. Because social bonding is powerful. Trust keeps groups together. Groups help individuals survive. For ancient humans, survival was never guaranteed. A single injury could be fatal. A harsh winter could wipe out entire communities. Trust mattered, connection mattered, and physical affection became one of the strongest signals available. A kiss said something words could not. I trust you. I accept you. I'm close enough to lower my defenses. That is an extraordinary message, especially in a dangerous world. But there is another mystery, because not every culture kisses, and that changes the story completely. Because for a long time, scientists believed kissing was universal. It seemed obvious. Movies showed it, books described it, songs celebrated it. Across much of the modern world, kissing appeared everywhere. But then researchers started looking closer, and the results were unexpected. In 2015, anthropologist William Jacobiak and his colleagues analyzed cultures from around the world. They examined records from dozens of societies. Some practiced romantic kissing, some did not. The pattern was surprising. Many cultures had never treated kissing as an important part of romance. Some found it strange. Others found it unpleasant. A few considered it unnecessary. That discovery challenged a popular assumption. If kissing were purely biological, shouldn't everyone do it? Not necessarily. Human behavior is shaped by two powerful forces, biology and culture. Biology may create the possibility. Culture decides what happens next. Think about language. Humans are born with the ability to learn language, but nobody's born speaking English or Bengali or Japanese. Culture fills in the details. Kissing may work the same way. The instinct for bonding might be ancient, and the expression of that bonding can change dramatically. One culture may kiss, another may rub noses, another may press foreheads together, another may use completely different rituals. The goal remains the same: connection, trust, affection. But the method changes, and that tells us something important. The story of kissing is not simply about evolution, it is also about imagination. Humans constantly transform biological instincts into cultural traditions. We turn survival into rituals. We turn instincts into symbols. We turn behaviors into stories. And few behaviors became more symbolic than kissing. Over time, kisses began carrying different meanings. A kiss could signal romance. A kiss could signal respect. A kiss could signal loyalty. A kiss could signal forgiveness. Sometimes a single kiss changed history. In ancient Rome, different types of kisses had different social meanings. Not every kiss was romantic. Some expressed friendship, others expressed status, others expressed family bonds. The act remained the same. The meaning changed. And meanings are powerful. Because humans do not live only in the physical world. We live in a world of symbols. A wedding ring is just metal. A flag is just cloth. A signature is just ink. Yet people fight wars over symbols. People sacrifice their lives for symbols, because symbols connect individual minds into shared realities. And kissing became one of the strongest symbols ever created. But then something strange happened. The more important kissing became socially, the more powerful it became biologically. And science is beginning to understand why. A kiss does not only communicate emotion, it changes the brain itself. A kiss may last only a few seconds, but inside your brain, an entire chemical storm can begin. The moment lips touch, millions of nerve cells become active. Signals race through the nervous system. Information travels at astonishing speed. Your brain immediately starts processing touch, temperature, pressure, movement, scent, emotion, and memory. Few parts of the body are as sensitive as the lips. They contain an extraordinary number of nerve endings, far more than most people realize. A tiny movement can trigger a huge response inside the brain. That response often involves chemicals called neurotransmitters. These chemicals help shape how you feel, how you think, and how you remember experiences. One of the most famous is dopamine. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical. It plays a major role in motivations and pleasure. When something feels valuable, dopamine activity can increase. Food can trigger it. Achievement can trigger it. Social connection can trigger it. And for many people, kissing can trigger it too. But dopamine is only part of the story. Another important chemical is oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is associated with trust and attachment. It plays a role in relationships between parents and children, between friends, between romantic partners. Researchers continue studying exactly how these systems interact, but one pattern appears again and again. Human connection changes the brain, not metaphorically, physically. Neural pathways strengthen. Memories become linked with emotions. Experiences become easier to recall. A meaningful kiss can become attached to a memory for decades, sometimes for an entire lifetime. Have you ever noticed how certain moments remain unusually vivid? A smell, a voice, a face, a touch. The brain often prioritizes emotionally significant experiences, and kissing frequently falls into that category. Because from the brain's perspective, relationships matter. For most of human history, relationships were directly connected to survival. Nobody survived alone, not for long. Ancient humans depended on cooperation, food sharing, protection, knowledge, child care. Everything required other people. The human brain evolved inside groups, and because groups mattered, social bonds mattered. And because social bonds mattered, behaviors that strengthened them became important. Kissing may be one of those behaviors. Not because evolution consciously designed it. Evolution never plans ahead. Instead, behaviors that improve survival tended to persist. Generation after generation, century after century, millennium after millennium. Until eventually they felt natural, obvious, almost inevitable. But there is one final twist in the story. Because humans may have transformed kissing into something evolution never intended. Something far bigger than biology. Far bigger than survival. Far bigger than reproduction. We turned it into meaning. Meaning is one of the strangest things humans create. You cannot hold it in your hand. You cannot measure it with a ruler. You cannot see it floating through the air. And yet meaning shapes entire lives. A kiss is ultimately just physics. Skin touching skin. Muscles moving. Electrical signals traveling through nerves. Atoms interacting with other atoms. That is the physical reality. But nobody experiences a kiss as physics. People experience it as a promise, a memory, a goodbye, a beginning, a reunion, a celebration, or a heartbreak. The same physical action can carry completely different meanings. That is what makes humans unusual. We do not simply react to the world. We interpret it. We assign stories to events. We build invisible layers of significance on top of reality. And over thousands of years, kissing became one of those stories. A behavior that may have begun with feeding, or scent detection, or social bonding, or perhaps all three. Scientists still debate the exact origin. There may never be a single answer. Human behaviors rarely emerge from one cause alone. Instead, they evolve through layers. Biology adds one layer. Culture adds another. History adds another. Emotion adds another. Until the original source becomes difficult to see, like a river buried beneath a city. Still flowing, but hidden. The strange thing is that most people never think about any of this. They simply kiss. The behavior feels obvious, natural, timeless. Yet behind that ordinary moment lies a story stretching back millions of years. A story involving ancient mammals. Evolutionary pressures, chemical signals, social cooperation, cultural traditions, and the remarkable human brain. Every generation inherited the behavior, then reshaped it, added new meanings, created new rituals, passed it forward again. The result is something far more complex than a simple act of affection. A kiss is a fossil from the past, a biological test, a social signal, a cultural symbol, and a personal memory, all at the same time. That combination is rare. Very few human behaviors operate on so many levels simultaneously, which raises one final question. When you kiss someone, what exactly are you experiencing? Biology, culture, evolution, emotion. The answer is probably yes, to all of them, because human beings are not built from a single story. We are built from layers of stories, ancient instincts beneath modern beliefs, old biology beneath new meanings, invisible history beneath everyday actions, and perhaps that is the strangest part of all. The next time you see two people kiss, it may look like a simple moment, but hidden inside that moment are millions of years of evolution, thousands of years of culture, countless generations of human connection, all compressed into a few seconds. A kiss feels personal, but it is also history, living history, carried from one human being to another. And that means one of the world's most intimate behaviors was never just about romance. It was always a message from the past, still reaching us today.